Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a spectacular day. I mentioned before that I had a very strange feeling that once prices did start going back up, this is when we would have an avalanche of good news, and it's been non-stop. There's so much stuff happening in the cryptocurrency space. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. In a month that has seen Bitcoin hit new highs for the year, the good news just keeps flowing. According to new reports, some of the biggest retailers in the United States are now accepting cryptocurrency payments. These include Starbucks, Nordstrom, Barnes & Noble, and Whole Foods are now all accepting Bitcoin. I actually had a message from a friend yesterday who was visiting New York, and they said they went into a Whole Foods, and apparently there's like a little symbol there where you can apparently now already pay in Bitcoin. The new initiative is the product of a partnership between the New York-based crypto exchange known as Gemini and payments startup known as Flexa. What makes it even better is that the entire process, is as smooth and seamless as paying using Apple Pay or any other phone-based digital wallet. The payment works via Flex's Spendin mobile app. Once you install the app on your smartphone, you can proceed to send some cryptos to your wallet. The app supports a number of cryptos, including the previous suspects, Bitcoin and Ethereum. It also supports Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and also the Gemini dollar. These are also all the coins that are on the actual Gemini exchange, so it makes sense that they would have their own coins on the actual app. Once you fund your wallet, you just hold up your app to pay at the cashier, just as you would with Apple Pay. The cashier doesn't even get to know that you're paying in cryptos. The retailer receives his payment in real time through the method of choice, be it in crypto or fiat currencies. For those that accept fiat currencies, Gemini handles the conversion. According to a Forbes report, Cameron Winklevoss, one half of the Winklevoss twins, couldn't hide his excitement at the launch of the product. After demonstrating just how easy it is to use the Spendin app at a Starbucks outlet, he proudly exclaimed, "We finally realizing the promise of crypto and payments. It's taken a long time, but as you've seen for yourself, we're here. It's a total win for the merchants. That transaction was effectively free." Here's the actual thing from Fortune also mentioned it as well. It's actually completely insane. This completely, and I mean, caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting news like this for quite a long amount of time. For those who don't know, Whole Foods is absolutely massive and gigantic in the United States. So is Nordstrom, so is Barnes & Noble, and so is Starbucks. And this was really weird because yesterday we were also just talking about news, and it's so weird that people give news this way. There was a representative from Starbucks who announced that they were potentially maybe thinking about finding the time to maybe one day accept cryptocurrencies, and then the exact next day we know that Starbucks is now it's a very weird. I don't know exactly how they got to this point. What's also really interesting as well is that a lot of people, myself included, we were actually speculating, or rather we had news that the people from the New York Stock Exchange had actually partnered with the people from Starbucks and Microsoft and Tesla to be able to accept cryptocurrency. So maybe there's some multi-partnership thing happening behind the scenes. Now bear with me, if these are the partnerships that the Winklevoss twins can get, I wonder what kind of news that we're going to get when we hear about the 3.0 part of Bakkt, as far as the companies who have partnered with them who are also going to be accepting cryptocurrencies. If the Gemini twins can get Starbucks, Nordstrom, Barnes & Noble, and Whole Foods, just imagine the names that the New York Stock Exchange has been accumulating over the last, what is it? They said that they've been planning all of this for the past 3 years. That's going to be completely insane when we figure out what companies they're actually partnered with. But as of right now, if this doesn't get you excited, I really don't have any words to tell you how you should live your life. But we've been waiting for mega companies to get into the cryptocurrency space since like 2012. In 2014, when I got into crypto, I remember it was a really weird thing because we for some reason in our utopian views thought that every single week that Amazon or eBay was going to be like, okay, we'll do it, fine, we'll accept cryptocurrencies. It took a long time for us to get here, and we even had news yesterday. For those who don't know, apparently it's not even rumored. They had like a banner somewhere at an event before they even made an official announcement. Apparently, eBay is also going to start accepting digital currencies, as they also said on their banner. Like, you have to understand the significance of all these mega companies accepting cryptocurrencies, all the mega institutions getting into cryptocurrencies. Cryptos are not going anywhere. And when it kind of gets into those numbers that I was talking about before, that for some reason, I understand maybe not everyone has my excitement or my enthusiasm. I get that. I got it. I'm a very interesting person. But you have to understand that we are going to have, within the next year or two, if not less, a $100,000 Bitcoin, and that is going to propel us towards a $250,000 Bitcoin and eventually a $500,000 Bitcoin. I don't know how much clearer to make this. Everyone who's been here for quite a bit of time, you know what's going on. And yeah, let's move on. Next up, the Börse Stuttgart, the second largest stock exchange in Germany, keeping once again in mind that a large stock exchange in Germany has listed 2 crypto exchange traded notes, according to a press release shared with Cointelegraph yesterday. Based on 2 major cryptocurrencies, they are XRP and Litecoin, and issued through the XBT provider. The exchange traded notes can now be traded against the Swedish krona and the euro on the Börse Stuttgart, Europe's 10th largest exchange, the announcement says. The SWB's crypto ETNs listing purportedly allows investors to track the future price developments of XRP and Litecoin through exchange-traded securities, which is the first initiative of its kind in Germany. Börse Stuttgart executive Jürgen Dietrich explained in the press release. Similarly to other exchange-traded products, crypto ETNs are reportedly available for margin trading on the exchange from 8 a.m. to 22 Central European Time. We had news sometime also last year that the second largest stock exchange in Germany, the Börse Stuttgart, that they had, I think they have cryptocurrency trading on their platform. I think they listed Bitcoin and Ethereum, I want to say those two. And they also released wow. They also released an app. I think it is called Bison, Bison, but I think it's only available for people living within Germany. So if you're in Germany, start using Bison. That's not paid advertising. It's just me trying to be funny. Let's move on. This is incredible. I mean, once again, just to bring it home, we are in a situation where not only did 2018 not deter people from getting into the cryptocurrency space, but while other people were not paying attention, multiple institutions were throwing billions of dollars at the cryptocurrency space to get into the cryptocurrency world, while once again other people were not paying attention. So now we have multiple stock exchanges within the US, and also the Swiss exchange, the German exchange, the Jamaican stock exchange, and the Bermuda stock exchange, and I think 1 or 2 also in Asia, who are also constantly listing cryptocurrencies on their platform. Yeah, I'm actually tapping my fingers against the table because I just want everyone to really understand what's happening with the world, like where all of this is going, and not to FOMO anyone, but there are going to be a lot of rich people made from cryptocurrencies, and I hope that everyone has taken the time to do their own research to understand that, or rather see if getting into crypto is right for you. That's the nicest way of saying it. Next up, security token platform known as Polymath will build a separate blockchain for regulation-compliant tokens with an Ethereum co-founder. The company confirmed in a blog post yesterday. Polymath, which has already contributed to the launch of over 100 security tokens, will now work with Charles Hoskinson on a new project dubbed Polymesh. Hoskinson, who after Ethereum became known for his subsequent cryptocurrency projects such as Cardano and Input-Output Hong Kong, will leverage his expertise to inform the development of the new platform. The partners confirmed the plans at the ongoing Consensus 2019 conference on Monday. They said there are quadrillions of dollars of financial securities, and building a blockchain to secure them is an incredibly exciting task. Polymesh will form the basis for developers to launch security tokens tailored to market needs while fully compliant with local regulatory requirements. This is actually very smart of them. What's happening right now as well is that we're getting into a situation where a lot of, oh my gosh. So what's been happening is that a lot of the major institutions and platforms have come to the conclusion that crypto is not going anywhere and that they need to start digitizing their assets as well, start digitizing the things that are securities. For those who do not know what securities are pretty much stocks, bonds, mutual funds, anything that you can pretty much buy on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ is typically a security. They are ruled over by the SEC. But as we are moving into a more digitized world and a quicker world, people want to be able to kind of send these things back and forth at a very quick pace and have them all on the blockchain, more secure, yada, yada, yada. You guys kind of all know the story. So a lot of people are developing these platforms to be able to actually develop and or launch these security tokens, which are pretty much the stocks and bonds and mutual funds on top of these platforms. I think a common misconception, and I don't know, this isn't to be mean, you know, we all start out somewhere. I totally get it. I got it. I think a lot of people, this may be one of their first times in any type of financial institutional space. Cryptocurrency may be your first time. Welcome. Welcome to the money. The important part is that a lot of people forget or don't simply know that when they do the basis of exactly how much money there is floating around in the world, a lot of people forget to actually count assets. And we had something, this had to be 6-7 months ago. I can't remember which video it was for the life of me. Where someone had a chart of exactly how much money there was in the world. A lot of people seemingly for some reason believe that there are only billions of dollars in the world. And then even when you kind of get into the $1 trillion number, people think that that's kind of the border. That's kind of how far that the cryptocurrency space can go. Because when we talk about a multi-trillion-dollar Bitcoin market cap, people go, that's not possible. There's not enough money in the world. Oh, but there is. There's actually quadrillions of dollars and securities and assets and gold and silver. All of this stuff adds up and is widely believed as we move into a more digitized everything world where everything is running on a blockchain or everything is running in some type of digital cryptocurrency space, that the cryptocurrency market is going to start to absorb these quadrillions of dollars as people will realize in the most logical way. Bitcoin was at 3,200. Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's at $75,000 right now. I can get more money and I receive more gains than I would from my other assets, which gain anywhere from 1 to 7% per year. Let me put it into Bitcoin. Let me put it into XRP. Let me put it into Ethereum as these coins are being used. People are using them. People are so and so and so on the different platforms. And this is kind of where we get that number from. So when you can do research on it. There's an incredible amount of money floating around the world just because it may not be in your wallet or in your bank account. We know that this money exists. This is why the financial world is so large and it is widely expected. And I think we have a good 2 or 3 years before this kind of really comes to fruition. The mega people, the richest people in the world understand exactly where all of this is going. And this is why we've seen a lot of, what is it called? Like promotions for people to kind of get rid of their gold, to sell their gold and to buy cryptocurrencies. I've seen some people in the comment section who've not taken this kindly as far as telling other people to sell their gold or to sell their silver. I, at one point, was into gold and silver, and just my own personal opinion, this is how I felt. This is my personal experience with everything that I've gone through with gold and silver. I wasn't in it for very long because I realized that the gains for cryptocurrencies were a lot higher. You may say what you will or say what you want. I remember a time when silver was $3, and I remember a time when silver was around it was around $30, and then it slowly started falling back in price. And that was the same exact time where Bitcoin was getting, 18,000% per year in rise in price and stuff like that. So the idea is that as gold and silver are very heavy and you can't really transfer your wealth around the world as easily, and also sending cryptocurrencies are just a lot quicker. This is where we kind of get those ideas that eventually, whether some people like it or not, just how the world is going to be, that people are going to start selling off their heavier assets and putting it into cryptocurrencies, because where the not the backlash, but the part that people disagreed with for a very long time was that, well, you can't spend crypto anywhere. You can't. What can you buy with cryptocurrency? What are you going to do with cryptocurrencies? You can't actually spend cryptocurrencies anywhere. There are actually lists. I don't have it up here in the tabs. There are hundreds, if not close to thousands, of companies around the world and institutions and places where you can spend your cryptocurrency just as easy. There are a couple of people I've seen, even like many documentaries of people kind of like showing themselves just living on cryptocurrencies. There are a couple of podcasters who live exclusively off of Bitcoin. They get paid in Bitcoin and they spend their Bitcoin. Like we live in the future, whether you want to believe that or not. And this is only going to become hyper accelerated as more time ends up going on. But without further ado, let us move on. So Ethereum is in the news, and this is incredibly important, at least for me. Member-driven blockchain standards organization the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, or the EEA, has released 2 new specifications aiming to accelerate and enhance blockchain implementation for enterprises. The news was shared with Cointelegraph in a press release yesterday. The EEA, which has over 500 members, describes itself as a standards organization whose charter is to develop open blockchain specifications that drive harmonization and interoperability. The EEA members include global financial firms Accenture, Santander, JP Morgan Chase, Consensus, Big Four editor EY, Intel, Microsoft, and IBM, and the blockchain consortium known as R3. I hope everyone got that. A lot of people who've been here for a while, you should know exactly what EEA is. EEA is one of the largest reasons why I remain almost eternally bullish on Ethereum. Ethereum may be slow. We may not have all the upgrades that they've been talking about, but there are, for those who are looking at the screen, they actually had to change the website because they have so many partners now that they had to just change it to their names, because there used to be icons. You had to scroll past the company's icons. These are companies who have announced that either in some sort of way they're going to be using Ethereum to either write laws on top of it, to write their what's the word? It's not work, files, whatever the case might be, that they're dedicated to using Ethereum in some capacity. And I mentioned before that it was kind of interesting in 2015, 16, 17, and parts of 2018 that we had Jamie Dimon, who's the head of JP Morgan Chase, who kept on announcing that how much he hated Bitcoin. Bitcoin was horrible. He was never going to use Bitcoin. And then JP Morgan Chase actually joined the Ethereum Alliance, and I was kind of like, okay, I got it. You guys are into Ethereum. Right, continuing on. One of today's newly released specifications is a set of standard application programming interfaces published as the EEA Off-Chain Trusted Compute Specification version 1.0, which supports development work with programs for blockchain transactions that demand privacy, Oracle services, and compute interactive workloads. The off-chain solution is reportedly designed to enable enterprises to create the most appropriate trusted compute technology for the use case, supporting methods such as trusted execution environments, zero-knowledge proofs, and trusted multi-party compute. Ethereum is going to be around for a very long time. I told you I'm seeing the things that we were talking about in 2016 are finally coming true. These coins are kind of coming into their own. The people who want to use certain projects have announced that they're going to be using these projects. And this is why I see Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum moving into their own lanes, kind of. Bitcoin is going to be a store of value, is going to be a payment processing thing, what have you. People will be able to use it as well, what have you. But Bitcoin will become so large because people will start pushing their money into it. XRP is going to be a new banking standard because a lot of the other ones just can't keep up with it, especially how far that they've actually come in 2 or 3 years. And Ethereum is going to be this like enterprise corporation, governmental usage tool, blockchain type thing. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it's about 15 things at the moment. I assume at some point it'll be filed down a little tiny bit, or even as we get to the point where Ethereum is capable of doing 1 million transactions per second, maybe it'll just simply be an all-encompassing type thing in general. Yeah, it's actually a little, sorry, there was a fly, get out of my face. It was a little daunting when you look at the amount of companies who are actually dedicated to using Ethereum, or that are part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Kind of insane. Next up, here's a really good one. Ripple's fundraising arm, known as Xpring, has announced an investment in Agoric. The company is working to create a new programming language based on JavaScript to give developers an easy and secure way to create smart contracts. I'll get back to that in 1 second. Meanwhile, Coinbase says XRP is now available in the Big Apple. New Yorkers can now buy and sell the digital asset on EOS. Oh my gosh, on iOS. I'm so used to seeing the big OS and then just thinking it's EOS. You can now have it on iOS, Android, and at Coinbase.com. This is significant because if you have been paying attention to the news that Coinbase has been coming out with, it's actually pretty sad. Every single time that something launches, or that Coinbase has launched a coin within the United States, they go, yeah, we're launching it within the United States and within the world, but the only countries and city that can't have it are Iraq and New York City. every single time. It was really weird. Coinbase listed about, I think, 18 coins or something last year, probably less. And New York City was constantly left out of the game. So it's very nice. If you're living in New York, you can now have access to XRP on their platform. And the other part is that there's a huge, and I don't know if this is actually in coordination with the other thing that they have. There's an XRP based smart contract platform. I think it's called Codius. Pretty sure it's called Codius. That a lot of people are very excited for, because a lot of the cryptocurrencies have realized that they can kind of mimic each other, but there are certain people and certain corporations and certain platforms who are trying to move just into specific cryptocurrencies, and XRP is one of the major ones that we've seen a lot of banking institutions and money transmitting services also getting into as well. And I assume that they will probably somehow benefit from the use of smart contracts. So this is probably going to maybe work in coordination with the other things that they're also developing on top of the XRP blockchain to kind of allow smart contracts and a whole bunch of other things that you can kind of do on top of it. Very fascinating. For some reason, I think this is cool, but for some reason I got more excited about the New York City thing. I felt so bad for everyone living in New York City. Like, for so long, it was just like reading out the news. It was like, they're adding so and so and so and so, and it's available everywhere except for New York City. It was kind of always the same. Anyway, let's move on. For those who have not been paying attention, Bitcoin has been going up by a lot the last couple of weeks. It's caused a new sense of euphoria in the cryptocurrency space, in the world. One of the most interesting things that I think that we're seeing, first of all, that unless I'm reading something weird, it says 7,800, 8,000, 8,800, and an 8,500. I feel like those numbers are very wrong. What we're kind of seeing is a renewed interest in the cryptocurrency space, but for a very long time, and I mean this has been years coming, we've been trying to figure out if there has been a correlation between the cryptocurrency space and also the stock market, that is to say the traditional asset stock market that we have, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, what have you. The last couple of days, the stock exchanges have not been doing very well, and at the same exact time, the cryptocurrency space, specifically Bitcoin, has been doing incredibly well, in contrast to where the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ and blah, 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 have all been going. What I think is happening, or is probably going to accelerate, I mentioned before, in 2017 and in 2018, I said I thought it was very weird that while prices were going down, that we had so much interest getting in rather, people focusing on the cryptocurrency space. Why would the New York Stock Exchange, why would the NASDAQ, why would all these other major exchanges around the world be desperate to get into what looked like a failing or dying asset to many other financial analysts? And you all heard the news, especially if you are just getting back into the crypto space. Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. Bitcoin will never rise again. Bitcoin's going down to zero. And I was like, why would they all be getting into it? And then we started having news as well in 2018 from all these other financial analysts who were like, yeah, we're probably going to have a stock market crash in 2019 or 2020. And that was accelerating really, really fast. It wasn't even like it was like 8 people. It was more like 38 people around the world. Like, heavy financial analysts were like, yeah, something's wrong with the markets. There's too much debt. There's too much student loan debt. There's too much debt between the US and China. There's too much debt between some other country and China. And all China really had to do was kind of announce that they wanted their debt that was owed to them. And this would be one cause or cataclysmic thing that would cause the stock market to crash. But I said, wouldn't it be really weird if all these financial institutions who were getting into the cryptocurrency space were doing it because crypto is going to be the new stock market 2.0, that they see that it's no longer sustainable to have this old world of finance that we once had, so they're moving over to the new one? And it's kind of coming true. I'm interested to see over the next, I want to say 3 weeks, as we move into June, as we move into this really weird summer time frame where I'm expecting more things to actually launch as well. If the stock market continues to go down and Bitcoin ends up breaking 10,000 over the next 4 weeks, I think my prediction will have come true, as far as people, or rather some of the richest people in the world, probably understanding that there's going to be a stock market crash, as we are well overdue for one. They typically happen anywhere from between 6, 7, 8 years, somewhere within that time period. We just celebrated, air quotes, a 10-year bull run in the stock market, especially after the 2008 crash. I'm certain at this point something behind the scenes is happening. We may never figure out exactly what it is, but I think if this does happen or continue to happen, if the stock market does go down and crypto goes up, it's because the old money, air quotes, the traditional money is realizing what's taking place, and they're going to start putting their money into cryptocurrencies, and more specifically Bitcoin. I'm waiting for the $10,000 break. I think that's going to be the thing that's really going to get things going. Yeah. At the moment, market's doing pretty okay. There are definitely some pullbacks. A lot of people have become afraid because the prices are going too high, or rather people are saying that they may be happening too fast. I don't think it's, myself, I think a lot of this is long overdue. I think the prolonged 15-month bear market was something that should not have happened. I think a lot of people were scared out of the market when they really should not have been. But to be fair, we've been having a couple of little pullbacks. You can't really see them as much anymore because they're very insignificant to what we've been having. That have been taking place. It's just normal market things. People get afraid. People get greedy. Prices start going up. Ethereum is over $200. It's very, very nice to see. XRP is actually up by almost 19%. I'm more shocked than probably anyone, simply because XRP was not moving for a very long amount of time. A lot of people are saying that they're waiting for the 40 to 42 cent area. Apparently, that would be a major break upward for the price of XRP if it can actually hit those numbers. And also, Litecoin is also nearing the $100 level, which apparently is another huge level of support. I think people are also looking for the $6 EOS. Binance Coin to go back over $25. Binance is still kind of going through a couple of things because of the hack that they just had. I think that Changpeng Sao said that they are going to be, not reenacting, that's not the word at all. They're going to be reigniting. They're going to have trading again on Binance sometime today. So I assume we may see some more movement of the actual Binance coin as far as like deposits and withdrawals being reactivated on the website. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have had or are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I really hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. We are living in very exciting times. I hope you can feel it as well. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Arthur Yaku, Minting Coins, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Paxis, Vlad the Impaler, Cody, RF Dusty, Richie Rich III, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna, Nicholas One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Clara T. Snowden, Cryptnotic, Jeffrey Ramsey, Amy Starsheen, Yasha Hadadi, Rai, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Carl Birchenoff, Mohair Moroni, Crypto Joe, Gilboa Snake, Shaolin Fried Rice, Wise Night Owl,